Hearts apart, Jimin and Jungkook's longing interrupted by different roads, the silence is deafening. Why have Jimin and Jungkook, once inseparable in the eyes of millions, become two parallel figures walking different roads? This is the question haunting fans across the globe. A question that is whispered in every corner of social media, yet never directly answered. What truly stands between them? Time, personal ambition, or a force larger than anyone dares to admit? In the beginning, their connection was undeniable. Their bond seemed to surpass the ordinary boundaries of colleagues and even friends. They were seen laughing together, exchanging glances that needed no words, and offering each other the kind of comfort that could only come from trust built over years of shared struggles and triumphs. But in recent years, the visible closeness that once defined Jimin and Jungkook has been overshadowed by distance, both physical and emotional. This distance has not gone unnoticed, and fans are left questioning whether the longing they once showed for each other has been deliberately interrupted by the divergent paths of their individual journeys. The reality is harsh. Jimin has been deeply immersed in his personal artistic pursuits, carving out his own space in the global music scene. His commitment to perfection, his relentless drive, and his search for self-expression have taken him into territories that demand his full attention. At the same time, Jungkook has embarked on his own journey, a path marked by independence, bold choices, and a determination to explore his identity beyond the group dynamic. Their schedules, once synchronized, now pull them into opposite directions, leaving little room for the kind of companionship that fans cherished for so long. But is this merely a natural consequence of growth, or is there something more hidden behind the curtain? The emotional weight of this separation cannot be understated. Fans who once found solace in the visible bond between Jimin and Jungkook now grapple with an unsettling reality. The image of two hearts filled with longing, unable to connect as before. Their bond was not only symbolic of friendship, but also of resilience and shared humanity. Now, the cracks in that image ignite speculation. Was this rift inevitable, born from the demands of fame, or was it engineered by circumstances that none of them could control? Every public appearance is scrutinized with almost surgical precision. When Jimin and Jungkook are seen together, the smallest gestures are dissected. A lack of eye contact becomes a headline. A brief smile transforms into endless debates, and even silence between them is interpreted as either proof of distance or a carefully crafted facade. The longing is palpable, but it feels interrupted, as if something invisible has placed a wall between two individuals who once walked side by side. Theories multiply, and none come without controversy. Some argue that the separation is simply the natural progression of adulthood and professional independence. Others whisper about external pressures, suggesting that the very system surrounding them thrives on controlling narratives, managing perceptions, and even dictating which relationships are highlighted and which are muted. In this view, the longing between Jimin and Jungkook may not have faded at all, but instead has been pushed into the shadows by circumstances that neither of them chose. Still, the emotional truth resonates with fans everywhere. Human beings, no matter how famous, are vulnerable to the same struggles as everyone else. Ambition can create distance. Success can bring isolation. Busy paths can fracture bonds that once seemed unbreakable. The tragedy lies not in the absence of affection, but in the cruel interruption of longing, the kind of yearning that lingers but cannot find a way to manifest openly. Fans recognize this pain, and it mirrors the very challenges they face in their own lives, making the narrative even more haunting. The more time passes, the stronger the questions become. Why have two people who once defined unity now become symbols of distance? Why does their silence speak louder than any words they could ever say? And perhaps most strikingly, who benefits from this separation? The fans are left searching for answers in the fragments. An interaction here, a photograph there. A fleeting smile that might hint at what lies beneath the surface. Yet no definitive answer emerges, only deeper layers of mystery. The longing between Jimin and Jungkook is not denied, but it remains unseen, caught in the crossfire of responsibilities, ambitions, and possibly forces that transcend their own will. Fans continue to hope that the invisible wall will someday crumble, that their bond will once again shine as brightly as it once did. Until then, the narrative remains one of interrupted hearts, two individuals who share history, longing, and unspoken words, yet are forced to walk different roads. In the end, the story of Jimin and Jungkook is not only about two idols navigating fame, but about the fragile nature of human connection under the weight of global expectation. It is about how longing can survive in silence, how bonds can fracture under pressure, and how fans standing as witnesses are left both heartbroken and hopeful. The question lingers, echoing louder than ever. Are Jimin and Jungkook truly apart, or are they simply trapped in circumstances that refuse to let their hearts meet? The growing silence between Jimin and Jungkook is not just an absence of interaction. It has become a symbol of unanswered questions. Fans wonder, how can two people who once seemed inseparable now appear like distant figures, each consumed by their own path? Is this distance simply the cost of chasing individual dreams? Or is it an interruption forced by pressures beyond their control? The truth remains elusive, and that uncertainty is precisely what intensifies the drama. What makes the situation even more unsettling is the contrast between past and present. In earlier years, Jimin and Jungkook were captured in countless moments of natural intimacy. Small touches, inside jokes, subtle glances that revealed their comfort with each other. These were not grand declarations, but rather quiet affirmations of a bond built in the shadows of shared struggles. Now those moments feel like memories frozen in time, fragments of a closeness that the present refuses to replicate. The longing still exists, but it feels trapped, unable to break through the barrier of their separate roads. Every fan who has followed their journey senses the shift. The performances remain flawless, the professionalism unshaken, yet something vital has changed. It is not their talent that is questioned, but the visible lack of unity that once gave their presence extra meaning. Jimin's artistry shines with elegance and vulnerability. Jungkook's confidence radiates with unmatched power, but together, they are no longer the same force. The irony is cruel. Both are excelling individually, yet their separation becomes a wound for those who cherish them as a pair. Observers cannot ignore the timing. Just as each of them began pursuing personal projects and building independent identities, the gap between them widened. Was this coincidence, or was the pursuit of individuality always destined to create distance? Many fans wrestle with this dilemma, torn between supporting their growth and grieving the loss of their visible closeness. In this paradox, admiration and sorrow coexist, making the story of Jimin and Jungkook even more complex. The emotional toll on fans is undeniable. Social media is filled with expressions of heartbreak, confusion, and nostalgia. Some cling to the hope that this is only a temporary separation, a chapter that will eventually give way to reunion. Others, however, fear that the distance has become permanent, that the longing will remain unfinished. What hurts the most is not the absence of affection, but the sense that something precious has been interrupted, stopped midway, without explanation. That in the absence of clear answers, speculation thrives. Was the separation encouraged for the sake of image management? Did external expectations discourage them from maintaining the same visible closeness? Or is it simply that life, with all its unpredictability, has drawn them apart? None of these questions come with definitive answers, yet each one deepens the mystery and fuels the emotional storm. Fans are not merely spectators, they feel invested in the bond between Jimin and Jungkook, a bond they believed symbolized something greater than fame. The idea of longing interrupted is perhaps the most powerful part of this story. It is not that the connection has disappeared. Rather, it remains present, lingering in silence, restrained by forces invisible to outsiders. This makes the distance even more painful, because it suggests that the yearning still exists, but has no outlet. A glance withheld, a word left unsaid, a meeting postponed. These are the subtle tragedies that fans perceive in every interaction, or lack thereof. The narrative is further intensified by the stage itself. Whenever Jimin and Jungkook perform separately, the absence of the other is felt like a shadow. When they stand on the same platform but maintain professional distance, the tension is almost unbearable. Each gesture, each movement becomes loaded with meaning, as though fans are searching for hidden signs of longing beneath the polished surface. In this relentless scrutiny, the bond between them becomes not just a personal matter but a public puzzle that millions are desperate to solve. Ultimately, what this reveals is the fragility of human connection in the face of fame. No amount of success can shield individuals from the realities of time, distance, and responsibility. Jimin and Jungkook are not exceptions to this rule. Their hearts may still long for the closeness they once shared, but the roads they now walk do not align as they once did. The tragedy lies in the interruption of that longing, the painful awareness that what was once effortless has now become complicated, restrained, and possibly out of reach. The unanswered questions remain. Will the bond between Jimin and Jungkook find a way to resurface, or will it remain buried beneath layers of silence and expectation? Are we witnessing the natural course of growth, or is there an unseen hand directing the narrative, keeping their paths apart? Fans continue to wait, torn between faith and despair, caught in the tension of hope and heartbreak. Until clarity arrives, the story remains suspended in uncertainty. Two hearts apart, two roads diverging, and a longing that refuses to disappear. The distance between Jimin and Jungkook is no longer something fans can ignore. It has become the focal point of countless discussions, debates, and speculations. What once felt natural and effortless between them now seems like a carefully measured performance, restrained by invisible boundaries. Every photograph, every video, every public appearance is combed through for signs of warmth or distance, but the answers never arrive. Instead, the mystery deepens, and with it, the longing that feels endlessly interrupted. For fans, this situation is more than just gossip. It cuts deeper because Jimin and Jungkook represented something rare: authenticity. Their friendship, their comfort with each other, and their undeniable chemistry were not staged but genuine. To see that connection fade into silence feels like a personal loss, as though something meaningful has been taken away. The emotional weight of this realization is what drives fans to question everything. Are they simply victims of overwhelming schedules, or is there a deliberate attempt to create separation? It is impossible to dismiss the impact of fame. Both Jimin and Jungkook are global icons whose every move is monitored, scrutinized, and sometimes exploited. The pressure of being constantly visible often forces them into roles that may not reflect their private realities.